in the middle there and we'll drift down, get him out in the open there.
Right. Bring him out. He looks a beauty.
Ease off. That'll do. Just leave the motor out of gear now.
Ripper.
Pity we forgot that landing net.
Look at him.
12
pounder.
Yep.
Easy. Come on. Take it easy. We don't want to lose this one.
Okay.
He's a beautiful fish.
He's not a bad fish, is he, Knight?
Look at the size of him. That's a nice fish. Look at him.
I'm just going to lead him over and try and gill him. If you balance me up in the dinghy.
Right.
Because he's not as big as I first thought, but he might be double figures.
He's double figures, no trouble at all.
I can just get him under the gill there. He's still a little bit green for this caper. Shorten him up a bit.
He's a monster.
Come here, fella. Come here. Oh. Just got to get in there behind the gill. There he is. Not a bad little fish, Knight.
Beautiful fish.
Okay, just get those hooks out of him. There we go. Those cobras of yours work well, mate. That's a good fish. Yeah, beautiful.
He'd be close to 12 pounds.
Yeah, male fish.
A big cannibalistic buck.
Yeah, big hook jaw on him. That's what the lake pedder fishing is all about. Trout of that size. In most parts of the world, a trout like that would be considered a freak, and yet this fella's about half the size potential of the trout that are in Lake Pedder. This fish would probably go into double figures on the old imperial scale, and there are a lot more like him in this water around here.
Lake Pedder undoubtedly has Australia's best brown trout fishing, and as its formidable reputation for big trout and lots of them grows, it must one day be recognized as among the best trout lakes in the world.
You ready for this now?
Any new adventure, mate? Any new adventure?
Okay.
These beautiful animals are Australian sea lions. They live on a small island called Hopkins at the seaward edge of Spencer Gulf, South Australia. For me, they are a fascinating introduction to what I regard as the most spectacular and intriguing fishing adventure I have ever undertaken. They are young female sea lions, grown out of the nursery, but not yet into full adulthood and their next role as parents of yet another generation. For them, too, this swim is a fascination. They are curious about us and as entertained by our presence as we are by theirs. The longer we swam together, the more I felt less like the observer and more like the observed, being scrutinized like the oddity I was in an environment that belonged to the sea lions. Their lack of concern at our intrusion and their obvious curiosity contrasts with the tentative way they regard humans on land. The water is evidently where they feel at home and confident.
Well, that was just fantastic. Incredible. Those beautiful, graceful creatures. When you're in the water with them, they make you feel clumsy, the way they swim like underwater ballet dancers, especially in a fantastic environment like this. But beautiful though they are, the seals aren't the primary reason we've come to this place. We've come here for a creature for whom the seals, unfortunately, are food, a creature we call the great white shark.
We plan to observe, then capture, tag and release a great white shark. An adventure depending on first-class help from men who know great whites. Rodney Fox is such a man. A professional diver for 20 years, Rodney and his mate Bob Britcher have seen hundreds of great whites. In Bob's 70-foot trawler, the Nenad, they're taking me to a place called Dangerous Reef. Dangerous Reef got its name because for 200 years it has wrecked ships. It is also a top spot for great white sharks. The reef is not much more than a cluster of low rocks, one of the smallest of a dozen or so scattered islands that dot the entrance to Spencer Gulf. It lies some 14 nautical miles from Port Lincoln. Dangerous Reef is home for a colony of sea lions. In fact, it's a sea lion nursery. Great white sharks are oceanic and found worldwide, but great whites eat seals and sea lions, and that puts Dangerous Reef on their visiting list as a feeding ground. Rodney Fox has made 14 expeditions to Dangerous Reef to see the great white sharks before. His fascination with these great creatures began in 1963 when one almost bit him in half. For Rodney, our arrival here means perhaps another chance to observe at close quarters this largest of the carnivore sharks. In the morning, our search would begin in earnest. Finding a great white shark is a matter of inducing one to find you. Put something in the water they can smell and wait.
Out on the rope, mate.
Yeah, what I want to do, Malcolm, is to float one right out the back of the boat so that it gives the first warning. Usually they can be quite shy. And I'll throw it straight out the back and we'll just hopefully keep an eye on the float.
Great. You can do all the work.
The inducement we put in the water is called burley, and in order to entice a single shark from the hundreds of square miles of surrounding ocean, we need lots of it.
This rather unattractive concoction is a mixture of minced tuna, tuna oil, and blood, and I'm glad you can't smell it. It's the basis of our burley slick. The idea is that the current will carry all those little bits and pieces and form a slick, which eventually might be miles long. And the shark, because it has a very keen sense of smell, and it has very sophisticated sensory devices underneath its snout, will ultimately be able to follow that burley slick and that scent all the way back to its source, in this case, our boat.
It's a process that can take hours, days, or a week to work. Or it may even not work at all.
One of the compensations about having to wait for quite a while for the sharks to come into the burley is that the burley attracts a lot of other local fish too. Fish like leatherjackets, sweep, parrotfish from off the bottom, and even whiting. And all you have to do to catch breakfast round here is drop a small piece of squid down on a little hook and wait about 2 seconds. Oh, yes. In and out the shark bait ropes. Breakfast size.
According to Rodney, who of course has done all this before, it's only wise to catch breakfast like this early in the trip. 3 days feeding solidly on our burley, and every fish in the water here tastes just like it.
Whack. Little blue throat parrotfish. A little bit of variety. Whoop. Quick release job. There you go. Yes, sir. Down there on the bottom. Uh-huh. Looks like the other half of breakfast. Half doesn't come up with him. Not bad eating fish either. Beautiful fish to look at, and not bad to eat either. It's the other half of breakfast.
Midday, and our wait for the sharks looks like being a long one. We're also waiting for our game boat, the Calypso, but happily Spencer Gulf has some great diversions, including the sea lion nursery on Dangerous Reef. It's places like this that almost make you forget the sharks we've come so far to find. But our game boat is on its way. Calypso is a 32-footer from Adelaide, the pride and joy of local sport fisherman Rolf Sabaski. On board her, while the Nenad waits patiently for the sharks and skipper Bob does all the birdieing, we could see some more of this remarkable area. The islands of Spencer Gulf are beautiful and unspoiled. It's with some surprise that you realize that all this is only just offshore and about 100 nautical miles from Adelaide, a city of 1 million people.
Yeah, it is Calypso 2, Bob. I'm on here, over.
Great, let's go right now, mate.
Get it.
The news from Bob was good. There were 2 big sharks back at the Nenad.
There's 3 around here now. 3? Great. How big was that one? Oh, must be at least 15 foot.
The plan from here was simple. Into our wetsuits as quick as we can, and then down in the cage to meet the sharks at last.
Let's get it amongst them.
Right, mate.
Rodney, this was the culmination of weeks of hard work.
3 sharks down there, it's going to be pretty exciting.
I can't wait to see your face when you come up.
Just as long as I come up again, that's all, Rodney.
With a thrill like this ahead of me, I had no room for fear, except perhaps an uneasiness about actually getting into the cage. The hole in the top looked almost too small. But once you're in, you're in. No one knows how big great whites grow. A 21-footer has been recorded. One harpooned off the Azores was said to be 29 feet. And in 1930, a great white stranded in a fish trap off Canada reportedly measured a staggering 37 feet. These sharks are less than half that size. White sharks are said to be fearless. They exhibit less fear than other species, certainly, yet they too can be shy, unsure, even timid. It was several hours before these sharks built the confidence to feed like this. Great whites have been branded in the past as vicious, cruel, angry, and ferocious. In fact, they probably feel no such stimulus. They do get excited by the smell of food, but all they're doing is actively feeding. It's my hope that one will eventually build enough confidence to take a tuna from my hands. Sometimes a shark makes a mistake about what can and what can't be eaten. For 48 hours, we have been lacing this water with blood and minced tuna. The scent has excited the sharks, and they have their confidence. Now they speculatively mouth anything in the water. There is no anger here. No evil monsters attacking our boat, just big, beautiful creatures innocently trying to feed, even from inside the cage. Man knows little about sharks, even less about this one. We do know now that sharks are not unpredictable, mindless stomachs operated by blind instinct, but creatures with memories and the ability to think and learn. Creatures with remarkable sensory organs called ampullae of Lorenzini, sensitive enough to detect even the minute electric fields surrounding other living creatures. An ability 25 million times more sensitive than that of man. Through the ages, man has feared sharks. Now we are slowly beginning to understand them.
That is one of the most incredible experiences I think I've ever had in my life. 4 big, great white sharks down there, going round and round the cage. They came so close at one stage we were able to reach out and touch them and virtually hand feed them. Absolutely marvellous experience. We're still cruising around here in the water, and we really do have to watch ourselves. They'll eat just about anything once they get a little bit excited, and they do it purely out of making a mistake about what they're eating. They try to eat what they can smell, but anything that looks edible, they'll have a go at, including me if I don't get out of here. Hey, easy on your face. I'm glad I'm not standing where I was a few minutes ago.
As a sport fisherman, there was something more I wanted to know about these magnificent great whites. What was it like to feel the awesome power of one on rod and reel? Taking on a fish that can weigh over a ton means your tackle has to be able to handle stress, lots of it. This 130-pound outfit is the biggest I fish with, built for the job by international tackle designer Jack Erskine.
Here he comes. He's coming around on the bait now.
He's seen it. He's seen
gone
it. Here's
for
a
it now.
take. Here we go.
He's got it.
No, he
No,
hasn't
he's
taken
missed
it yet. He hasn't taken it.
Here he
He's
comes
coming
again.
back. Let him
got it
have
this
He
it.
took it that time. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it. Okay, I'm gonna hit him now. Yeah, we're tight. That's it, Ross. Go, go, go. Yeah, we're tight to him. Keep going, Rob. Keep it up. Okay. These are up there now. We're clear of the boat. Woo! It's shooting. Nothing much you can do about him when he's doing that. Hold it, Rob. Hold it. Coming back. Go the other way. That's it. That's nice.
You might be here for a long time.
Yeah, he's just a bit confused about all the weight that's on him, probably. But he's not doing much in a hurry, so you probably go the distance, no worries at all.
That was that big one, wasn't it? Do you think that the biggest one we had swimming around the cage is about a 15-footer, I'd say? Alf Dean's record, you know, was only a 16-foot-6 one, and his weighed over 2,600 pounds. So you got at least a couple of thousand pound on there. How are your legs feeling? A bit tired?
No, they're okay.
A lot of strain on them.
Bit more right, Rodney.
Just
More
like
right.
marlin fishing, the fight with a big shark is a team effort. And like big marlin, sharks know about fighting back.
1 hour and 6 minutes.
Feels like it too.
If I wanted to catch this shark before dark, I was going to have to hurry.
Ooh, he's got some power. Ooh, so nearly 70 pounds of drag on there, and he's still inching it off. Can't get him up. He's got power he hasn't used yet, Rodney. Anyway, we keep this sort of pressure on him for long enough, he'll come up and we can tag him and let him go. Gee whiz, just as well it's 1:30 and not 50 or something. Be here for a week. Can't even sit down. Couldn't get a turn there.
Over an hour and a half into the fight, and the big shark is still going strong.
Might get a shot at him here soon.
Here he
There's
comes.
the double knot out of the water.
Steel trace
There's
coming
the
up.
wire. Reach for it, Gary. Reach for it, mate. This time. Go for it. Oh, come here. Oh, come here. Right, reach for it. Go. That's it. Right, now pull
Bring her forward. Bring her forward. Come on, pull up. Pull up.
hard.
Come on, pull up.
Hang on to it. Okay. Hang on to it.
Pull up. Good tag.
Oh, lovely. What would she be, Rodney? She 14, 15?
Yeah, good 14 footer.
She go a couple of grand?
Oh, she's a big one.
Hold her there, fellas.